Okay, so I was going to put this up earlier. However, I had BYU getting to the Sweet 16, and they ended up losing to Ole Miss in the first round, the first four games, or whatever they're called. And that totally killed me, so I had to pretty much, scrap what I shot earlier and put this together. Alright, let's start with the Midwest Regional. In terms of upsets, I originally picked Buffalo to beat West Virginia, but I changed it because I actually do like West Virginia's point guard, Jawan Staten. He is a bit banged up, but I don't know. I still think they could beat Buffalo, although they are an upset alert. I also got Texas over Butler. Texas is the better team, in my opinion. They did have an up and down season, but I still think they can beat Butler. And that's about it for the first round in the Midwest. Second round, I do have West Virginia beating Maryland to get to the Sweet 16. And I do got Wichita State upsetting Kansas, shocking the world, or shocking Kansas for that matter. And so the Elite 8 matchup I have in the Midwest will be Kentucky and Notre Dame, and I have Kentucky moving on to the Final Four. As for the West Regional, in terms of upsets, I stuck with Ole Miss beating Xavier. Yeah, I just stuck with that. I'm not really sure why. I kind of do like Ole Miss. However, I do have them losing in the second round to a surprising Georgia State team. And yes, Georgia State was a lot of people's darling before the tournament even started. But, however, they are playing a really tough Baylor team. Probably going to be proved wrong here, but I ended up picking Georgia State because I would like to see them get as far as they can, but I'm probably going to be proved wrong here. As you can see, I do have them make it to the Sweet 16. Oh, another thing I'd like to mention is that I just have this feeling that it's the year for 14 seeds for some reason. Even though I only got 2 of them advancing this year, I just have a feeling it's going to be the year for 14 seeds for some reason. And I do have Georgia State beating Ole Miss to get to the Sweet 16, as I said. Other than that, there's no real big upsets until the Elite 8, where you can see I have Arizona taking down Wisconsin. Wisconsin last year was a Final Four team, and this year they're once again really, really good. But Arizona's due, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick the team that is due for a Final Four appearance. Sean Miller is probably the best coach in the country who hasn't been to the Final Four yet. Alright, as we move on to the East, you can see right off the bat that I've done probably the craziest thing you can do when making your bracket. And that is pick a 16 seed over a 1 seed. Now, I don't think this is going to happen. In fact, I really do have a problem picking too many upsets. But this is probably the first 16 over 1 upset I've ever picked. But you know something? I just know it's going to happen someday. I know a 16 seed will overtake a 1 seed. I know there's, ginormous differences in talent between 16s and 1s. But it's bound to happen someday. I don't think it's going to be this year. I thought it could be like North Florida over Duke, but North Florida did lose today to Robert Morris. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Lafayette over Villanova. And I don't think Villanova's going to get very far anyway. So, as you can see, I have LSU going to the Sweet 16. And I think LSU can beat Villanova. So yeah, two more upsets. Like a lot of people, I do have Dayton over Providence. Dayton was the only first four pick that I actually got right. I really don't do good picking those for some reason. But yeah, I have them going back to the Sweet 16 where they're going to lose to Virginia. Oh, and I also got Albany over Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they're a really good team, but Lon Kruger has a losing streak. He's on a losing streak going into the tournament, or he's on a tournament losing streak, as I should say. And then I have Dayton beating Albany to get to face Virginia in the Sweet 16, and then I have Virginia taking on Louisville in the Elite Eight, and Louisville has to beat LSU in Northern Iowa to get there. And in the end, Virginia, a little, I did it again. That's a spoiler alert right there. But yeah, I have Virginia beating Louisville to get to the Final Four. And finally, the South Regional. As you can see right off the bat, I got 12 versus 13. And I also got a 10 moving on in Davidson. Davidson will be beating Iowa. Eastern Washington, the 13 seed, will beat Georgetown, the 4 seed. And Stephen F. Austin, the 12 seed, will beat Utah, the 5 seed. And Stephen F. Austin, Eastern Washington will take on each other. And I have Stephen F. Austin making to the Sweet 16. I like Stephen F. Austin over Utah because they are actually returning a lot of players from the team last year that beat VCU as a 12 seed. And I also like Eastern Washington over Georgetown because Georgetown tends to fuck up in the tournament for some reason. So I usually just don't have a lot of faith in them in the tournament. I mean, I've picked them before. I picked them over Florida Gulf Coast a couple of years ago. They sucked. I think the first time I put together a bracket, I picked them to win the whole thing, and they didn't do much for me. They didn't do very good. So I'm going with Eastern Washington because after all, they do got Nation's leading scorer. I forget what his name is. Gonna have to look it up. And then I have, this would be lucky, Gonzaga makes it his second weekend of the tournament, but they fall to Iowa State. And Stephen F. Austin's Cinderella run runs out against Duke, the 1 seed, and then Duke loses to Iowa State, who goes to the Final Four to face Virginia. All right, and so my Final Four is Kentucky, Arizona, Virginia, and Iowa State. Kentucky going to this tournament will be 38-0. Arizona, I like their chances because they're due after all, and they got a really, really good team. Virginia, they're playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. They won the ACC regular season. However, they lost in the same round as Duke in the tournament, and they ended up getting a 2 seed while Duke gets a 1 seed. So, for that matter, I have a good feeling about them. And Iowa State, I don't know. I just feel like it's their year. I really feel like it's the year for Fred Hoiberg and company. I mean, they got a really good team. They got plenty of transfers. And Fred Hoiberg has really built into a great program, and I think this could be their year, but I do have them losing to Virginia, and I do have Kentucky winning their 39th in a row this season over Arizona to advance to national championship. And yes, I'm on the Kentucky bandwagon in this this year. And I am picking them to finish off an undefeated season and win the whole thing. And I picked the 77-70 final score. Don't know why. It's just a couple of random numbers, and I don't know. I just picked it. I don't know why. So that is my 2015 NCAA Tournament bracket. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, rate, comment, do whatever the hell you want with it. Let me know what you guys think about my bracket. And anyways, the games are starting tomorrow as I am recording this narration. It's 9:53 Pacific time, so it's over past midnight for you guys on the East Coast. It's probably a bit later because this video has not been uploaded yet, but as you are watching it, you'll know why. Just let me know if I've picked too many upsets also, because that's just a problem I have. I just like the underdog. That's it. Oh. And for you trolls that are going to say, "Oh, there's no way Lafayette's going to beat Villanova." Well, I don't think they're going to beat Villanova. I just went ahead and picked it, and even if I did pick Villanova here, I don't think there's any way I'm going to be getting a perfect bracket. And I just don't think Villanova's going to get that far because they're the type of team that's really good during the regular season, but they just don't do that well normally in the tournament. I mean, they were in the Final Four like 5 years ago, but other than that, they haven't done really much. So yeah. As I said, Kentucky, Arizona, Virginia, and Iowa State. Bye-bye.